What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and once again, le vamos a echar las pilas because I'm here with
Gersh One,
and that means we're going to put on our batteries because it's time for the Greater
Whoa! This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get those questions first. That is what Romeo Lazo did.
Oh, not Romeo Santos?
Maybe. He asks, why does GW update why does GW update the Space Marines and ignore everything else? Good question. And based on our personal experience of creating 40K content for the past, 3-4 years?
Yeah.
Space Marines just sell. Like, you guys are way more interested in watching Space Marine videos than you guys are anything else. Yes, there is a loud minority of Xeno player out there that want to know about the Orcs. They want to know about the Eldar. But at the end of the day, Space Marines are like the #1 seller. So obviously, Games Workshop is going to give them as much love.
Right.
And for all those people that I've seen on Instagram, on Reddit, saying like, no, it should be equal. That's not how business works. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if you sell the most pepperoni pizzas, you're going to be buying more pepperoni than you are, like, anchovies and stuff like that.
That's actually a really good, comparison, because when you go to the Domino's app, or, any app, you see the top pizza that they're showcasing is pepperoni pizza.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there is a double pepperoni pizza, and there's not a double sausage pizza. You have to, ask for it, especially.
Right.
But it's not, an actual, category. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Space Marines. Space Marines are the pepperoni of 40K.
Yeah. Not to say, Meat Lovers or Supreme isn't bad. It's just pepperoni sells.
Right, yeah. Nobody wants a squig pie. Which, check out our 40 facts on the 80 facts on the Orcs. We talked about a squig pie. Pie. Basically, it's just a sandwich. I don't know why they call it a pie, but it's a sandwich made out of every piece of the orc.
Even the teeths?
Even the teeths. I wonder if that's a squig or fungus.
Mm-hmm. But, you could clearly see that, GW focus everything towards Space Marines. When you go to a GW store, sometimes they have, a massive statue. It's not a Necron. It's not a Tyranid. It's a Space Marine.
Yep, even stock. You look at the stock of the Space Marines, and they have a good stock.
Compare the size of codices out there.
That's true. That's another thing, too. And you can make the argument, there's more chapters within, the Space Marines. Not really, though.
Look at all the cadres. Look at all the Necron dynasties, Orc clans, yeah.
All that good stuff, yeah. It's just that it just sells, and that's how it's always going to be. Unless I wouldn't even say change it. Just play what you want to play. Because I'm in the process of starting a Primaris army. Partly because they get updated, but also partly because
they're cool.
Yeah, everybody has a Space Marine army.
Yeah, that's true. It's no matter what, you're going to somehow, some way end up playing Space Marines.
Yeah, because you're human. And you don't want to be a normal human, like an Imperial Guardsman. You want to be a superhuman.
Right. Although sometimes it is cool playing the underdog. And it's these rows and rows of just regular humans took out, a ITC Iron Hands list.
Yeah.
Probably won't happen, but hey, if it does, you can say that your friend does not know how to play 40K.
Yeah, or just they had really bad luck. Because at the end of the day, this is a game of luck.
Right. But you could always tip luck in your favor.
Yeah.
Because, the freaking Iron Hands, they have, stratagems that, reduces the damage taken. And it's just, the things you could do with the Iron Hands tactics and stuff is crazy.
Yeah, it's, what's funny about those really competitive lists? It's really fun to watch. I've been actually watching some of Tabletop Tactics videos with the super competitive guys, and it's cool because you see two competitive lists going up against each other. But if you want to replicate that in the real world, it's kind of difficult because if you are that person that brings the OP list to a friendly game, that's when your friends stop being your friends.
Yeah. It goes from being 40K Sundays to nothing Sundays.
Yeah. And trust me, I've done a lot of things to piss these guys off, and we continue to have them. But if I started bringing lists, then yeah. Yeah,
because the orcs are nasty. Even now, I've lost every game in 8th edition, and I'm still, coming over and having fun losing.
Yeah, I've lied about every single one of my units at least one point in my entire career. Like, Skitarii have a toughness of 4. Is it toughness or strength? I can't remember. But yeah.
It's actually 3, ain't it?
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense. They're supposed to be, like, metal and, like...
Yeah, I think it's just supposed to be, like, flimsy metal.
But I think the thing is, though, it's like, if you're comparing it to a Space Marine, it's like, yeah, they're not as tough as a Space Marine.
Right.
But
then again, a strength 10 or... toughness 5 Space Marine would be too much.
But, I mean, you get that with, like, bikers.
Really? Bikers have
If you're on a bike, it gives
5?
you an extra toughness.
Huh, wow.
Yeah. That's why the new Outriders in the 9th edition box set, which pre-orders should be next week.
The 11th, yeah.
The 11th, yeah. Those things are crazy because they can move 14 inches. They got like 3 or 4 wounds each. Toughness 5, like 2 or 3 attacks. They're crazy good.
They probably have an invuln too.
Hopefully they don't, because maybe that would be their downside.
Because I know the Death Copters, now that you mentioned that, Death Copters have invuln of 5+. Oh. So maybe the Space Marines will have
their
that
Primaris. I mean, just give them everything.
Yeah. Just let them be awesome.
Yeah. Good question. We kind of got
carried away.
Yeah, a little off topic, but yeah. Space Marines get the love.
For a good reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Next question. This one comes from Ultimate Gandhi. This is a long one. How many guardsmen would it take to take down a fully armored Space Marine, and how many to take down a Primaris Space Marine?
So if you're going like mano a mano, like no weapons?
Yeah, like an Imperial Guardsman versus a regular Space Marine.
I don't think it's possible, because like Space Marines have like freaking fused rib cages and their bones are denser and harder, and I don't see a regular human taking down somebody like that, let alone a Primaris who literally has like steel muscles.
It's like that Joe Rogan clip where he says, I think it's like you versus 20 12-year-olds or something like that, and then Joe Rogan's like, oh, I would fuck up those 20 12-year-olds. It's kind of the same thing. Like a grown-ass person can beat up 10-year-olds.
But I mean, you have a weak spot. I mean, Joe Rogan being a male, obviously you have the where the P is stored, the balls. They can just go for it, and then they could get you that way.
Yeah, but his argument was like, as soon as he punches one 10-year-old, all the other 10-year-olds are gonna like run away.
Oh, like the whole fight versus flight.
Yeah, and it's kind of true, especially with a guardsman. Like if a guardsman, unless they're Death Corps of Krieg, but then we're not even talking about like regular guardsmen. We're talking about the Death Corps of Krieg.
And they're what, clones?
Yeah, they're clones. They're like they actually are. Yeah, they actually are 10-year-olds.
10 years old. Yeah.
So and they're vat grown.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's just a completely different scenario.
Right. Then we could also be talking about the Catachans, and those dudes are like tough.
Yeah, I mean they can fight off straight up predators.
Right.
So if a standard Cadian guardsman, you do say against a fully armored Space Marine, so I only assume that like the Cadian guardsman has weapons. I think it would take a lot, like a full regiment would probably of just like with las guns, not artillery pieces. That's completely different.
Or if you've got like Yarick with his claw.
Yeah, the commissars.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, a good example of like how methodical and how ruthless a Space Marine is the Astartes fan animation.
Oh yeah.
Check that out, and then look at everything else that a guardsman can do. That should show you just like how out of their league a freaking Space Marine is to a regular guardsman.
Yeah, they're just better shots.
Mm-hmm.
And then you continue to say, how many Space Marines would it take to be a Primaris Marine? That's a good question.
I don't think it's that much. I think it's definitely they're more on like a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on luck. Even though like, yeah, I'll say it's on luck.
Yeah, me too. Like 1v1,
mm-hmm.
It's like 60-40 for the Primaris.
Right. It also depends on who it is. Obviously, if it's like a named character like Sicarius or something like that, yeah, they can take on any no-name Primaris.
And then you go on and say, what about a Primaris versus a Custodes?
Oh, Custodes, hands down. There's actually, an instance where the Custodes actually take down who they believe is a Renegade Primaris chapter of the Brazen Drakes. And yeah, I don't think any Custodes died, and the whole Primaris chapter got decimated.
Yeah, so those guys are tough. You can get an entire chapter to not against a unit though, right?
Right.
Yeah, so maybe a company versus one Custodes.
Maybe.
And then you said what's the strongest Primarch a living saint can beat? The strongest Primarch a living saint can beat. I don't think a living saint can beat a Primarch.
Right. Because, I mean, when I think saint, I think of Saint Celestine, because obviously she's the most well-known. We've seen most of her feats, like she fought against Abaddon and stuff like that. So we've seen what she can bring to the table. But against a Primarch, yeah, Primarchs are
above the regular.
Yeah.
And Karn almost killed her.
Right. Or I think he did, but the Emperor revived her.
Yeah. And then you go on to say a Terminator versus a Custodes.
No, Custodes, hands down.
Yeah, it probably will take the full company, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, and I don't mean like if they can get a lucky shot or have a super equipment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about average equipment and making them win a best out of 10. I'm talking about consistency. Yeah, so the Adeptus Custodes consistently will be better than all the other ones. And then the closest thing would be a Primaris versus a regular Space Marine.
Right. Now that's lore-wise, at least. If you're going into the tabletop, it depends by edition. Currently, elite units,
well,
they're not the best.
And on the tabletop, it really depends on who shoots first.
Yeah. Who gets the first, I guess, who gets the jump on initiative? Are you getting charged? Are they charging you? Luck, the die rolls can play a huge part in it.
Back when we used to do Hero Click battle reports, we used to really enjoy doing like Hulk versus Wolverine and stuff like that. So then when we started doing 40K battle reports, we actually tried doing the same thing, and we just quickly realized like, oh no, this is like not fun. It's just a matter of who hits first.
Right.
And that's going to be the winner.
Yeah, because you would think strategy has something to play with. Like, oh, I'm not going to let him charge. I'm just going to stand back and shoot. But there's ways around that. Eventually, you're just throwing dice, and it's just not fun.
Yeah, and especially like one weapon can kill out any multiple wound unit, like just one shot. There's a lot of weapons like that. They have a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But yeah. Next question.
This one is by Colonel Kablooey. Since orcs can technically survive decapitation by having their head stitched back on, like Gaskell did, could Mad Doc Grotznik take an orc head and stitch it onto another orc, making them essentially a two-headed orc?
Yep.
Has it been done before?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Even though they'll just fight each other. And then it's like that D&D monster.
Oh, the
Atin?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's two heads, and then one is always more docile than the other. It's just like in the orc side, like they're not. They're just gonna kill each other.
But it's like if you put a orc head on another orc, can that orc already, just by being fused to that orc, have control of half the body? Or is it just the orc head, going along for the ride?
I don't know. I think it all depends on the mad boy or the
grot.
Yeah, that
Oiler.
stitches that stitches the guy on.
This one got a little bit too much oil.
Yeah. Next question.
This one's by Kevin Meyerson. What would you do if the Men of Iron had returned as a playable faction?
Buy them.
Men of Iron seem really interesting.
Yeah, they seem fun. Especially when you get into like the colossal ones.
Yes.
Recently, we've been seeing a lot of like terrain for, the Necrons. And then we have the Hammerhead, or was it Hammer Fist drop thingy?
Oh, yeah, that like drop turret thing with the missiles.
Yeah, so that looks pretty cool, and I feel like that's what the vibe of the Men of Iron would be.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of saw a little glimpse into what they would be with the Blackstone Fortress, with the
X-29 9 Sub ABB.
BBWY, XYZ.
Bridget B. Yeah.
That guy.
That girl.
This one's by Some Politics. How quickly did Angron turn traitor or fall to chaos?
Angron. I think Angron was as soon as his butcher's nails started to kick in.
I would even say even before that, because he was just a pissed off dude. Like, he was. If you lined them all up and said which one's gonna fall to chaos, I feel like you could easily just pick the angry one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, on the road. I don't even know when they started when he started worshiping Khorne though. That I don't know. And honestly, Khorne didn't even want him all that much. Khorne was just like, hey, by the way, this is happening during the Horus Heresy. He's like, oh, by the way, you see Karn over there? I want him to be my chosen later. And then the Angron got mad.
But, yeah, I would definitely say as soon as the nails were implanted, like, there's no going back.
Yeah.
But I would even go as far back as saying when the Emperor picked him up, like, that was kind of a dick move.
On the Emperor's part.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he was killing Space Marines before, like, Primarchs were killing Space Marines. Because when he was put onto the battle barge, and he was like, okay, you're the Primarch, you guys deal with him now. And he just kept killing captain after captain. Because they were trying to calm him down, like, talk to him. And nope. He wasn't having none of that.
Killed so many people. Next question comes from Robert Has Downs Jr. Damn, you guys get hotter, or is there warp shenanigans? I mean, it's summer, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's hot right now.
Was it like 90 degrees?
It's pretty bad. The air doesn't turn off. Next question.
This one's by Digital Sigma. If clone Fulcrum were to ever escape Trazian's vault and make it back to the Imperium, do you think he would be accepted by Guilliman and be helpful in saving the Imperium? That, I don't think would ever come to pass, because we know what happened with the original Fulcrum. If anybody, Guilliman knows best what happened to the original Fulcrum, because Fulcrum is the one that sliced Guilliman's throat and put him in stasis. So yeah, I think Guilliman would definitely not allow a clone of the brother who almost killed him to be back into the Imperium.
Yeah. Even though if it did happen, they would have to do some big story with him. They can't just bring him back just to like let him go again.
Right.
Even though they've done that with with Mortarion and Magnus the Red.
I'm still waiting for Fulcrum demon form to come out.
Yeah, what's annoying about demon form Mortarion and Magnus the Red is that they were banished back into the warp, and like the rule states, if you get banished, you can't come back for, is it 100 or 10,000?
Well, I believe it was like 10,000 years.
Yeah, because Angron, that happened to Angron when it was the first war for Armageddon. He was banished by the Grey Knights. So, bummer.
And the thing is, like, is it actually 10,000 years? Because, like, time works weird in the warp. So it's
That's
like,
true, yeah.
maybe it's 10,000 years for Angron, but it's only been like 20 years in the real world.
That's true, yeah. Huh.
Because what if he did spend 10,000 years in the warp, but when he got spat out, they spat him back in the past. So it's like, even though he served it, and like in that timeline, he hasn't been around for 10,000 years. Now he's back in the past.
Yeah, that would be tricky.
Yeah.
I don't know if GW would plunge into that.
We getting on like Samurai Jack feels.
Yep. Next question.
Mr. Blarf. If the Emperor were to wake, how likely is he to purge the Space Marines after pacifying the galaxy like it was hinted when he originally planned to, like he did to the Thunder Boys?
Probably never.
Nah. That is definitely a way to end your business.
Yeah.
It's like, everybody likes to play Space Marines? Well, guess what? The Emperor's back and they're gone.
Yeah, and not to mention, like, the old Marines are kind of getting purged already.
A little bit. So, I mean, they're just not getting releases.
And yeah, they're not going to. It would be crazy if GW was like, oh, by the way, you guys want to buy this set that looks shittier on the tabletop than all the other stuff that we're putting out?
It's not worth their time and money to bring out classic Marines when you could play the true to scale, awesome, new shiny Primaris.
Yeah. The ones you can't put in your mouth.
Are they too big to fit in your mouth?
No, they just taste weird.
Oh, okay.
This question comes from Teich Angleton. What's with everyone questioning my questions must be the Inquisition. That's actually a good point.
That is, yeah.
A lot of you guys were asking about Teich Angleton.
Why do you always read his questions?
You should start like an account. Just, branch off. Do your own thing. Teich Angleton. Next question. This will be the last question. What do you got?
Dean McKenzie. Can a max strength Dante kill a pre-demonhood Lorgar since he was technically the weakest of the Primarchs? The thing is, I feel like even though you're the weakest of the Primarchs, you're still probably like the strongest of the Space Marines.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like if you put like a, I don't know if this makes sense, but I was going to say like if you put a Major League Baseball player against like the best player in like your high school team. Like,
right. It's exactly like that. If it was like a one-on-one sport.
Right. But then like there's been instances of like
upsets.
Yeah, like varsity I don't know, like star pitchers going into the MLBs and being like, legends.
Yeah, but I don't think Dante is to the level of a Primarch.
No, definitely not. Even though Gilliman has given him a position equal to that.
Yeah, so it's not like Kobe playing against somebody that's playing straight up in the NBA. Because didn't Kobe come from high school?
Yeah, like he went straight from high school, I believe, to the NBA, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't be like that, though. It would be like some regular Joe Schmo basketball player from high school going up against LeBron James.
It would have been me if I didn't mess up my knee.
Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Thank you guys for sending those questions our way.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. This has been The Sound Alchemist.
Gersh 1.
And we'll see you then.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.